Hello, welcome to PlayStation Access. My name's Nathan, and welcome back to the Tuesday Checklist. Every Tuesday, the Access team takes inspiration from a recent or upcoming release to start a conversation about some of our favourite games. Having spent a lot of time on last week's Destiny 2 beta, basically all of last week, we got to thinking about when multiplayer gaming offers up those moments of magic that we'll never forget. Rob kicks us off reminiscing about that glorious time just after the release of the first Destiny.
Okay, so a multiplayer moment that I will never forget is when I was playing the first Destiny with you, Nathan, and also with Dave Meekleham, our good friend Dave. And it was when we were doing the Nightfall, and it was way back right at the beginning of Destiny whenever you'd log on to PS4, everyone would be playing it, and it was all exciting. It felt like this massive community just ploughing through this amazing adventure. And the Nightfall was like a badge of honour, wasn't it? Was it a weekly thing, the Nightfall? And if you did the Nightfall, you get that little symbol above your head so everyone knew, oh, he's done the Nightfall that week. And you do your little dance, Nightfall dance, yeah. And we were doing the Nightfall, I think it was on Earth, one of the old Russia ones, so the Archon Priest Nightfall. My favourite thing ever was where there's a little platform when the Archon Priest comes out. It's like a staircase, isn't it? And it goes onto this kind of raised platform. And before they fixed it, because Bungie did fix this eventually, you could slip underneath the platform so that nothing could get you. And there was like a sweet spot right underneath it where all three of us were just crouched, waiting for the Archon Priest to come, and he would slowly just walk around the arena, and he'd come round the front, and, oh, there he is, quickly get some pot shots in, and then you'd have to quickly sink back as well, because you could be hit, if you went too far forward, you could still be hit with projectiles, and I think in fact Meeks died right near the end, so we couldn't touch him, so it was just me and you, Nath, trying to kill this Archon Priest, and it was just one of the most intense, difficult 45 minutes of multiplayer ever, but it was multiplayer in a way that I'd never played it before. We really had to cooperate with each other.
Cowards.
Yeah, cooperating cowards. But we really did. It felt, when we did it, it felt amazing.
It's like a giant action movie, man, and then like the final battle, like the hero just hides under the table and shoots out.
But that was what was brilliant about it. It was like three guys just hiding out, just crying together. We're gonna die, we're gonna die. We're not gonna die, shut up, we're gonna do this. And then we did do it, and it was just a brilliant feeling. But it's not so much about the game, it was more about the enjoyable experience of going through that together. And I think Destiny has done that better than any other game. I've had multiplayer moments in Destiny that have stuck with me more than multiplayer in anything else. And it was just so much fun to play, and hilarious and terrifying as well.
So I guess it's weird, isn't it? Because loads of our multiplayer memories are ones that we've got on camera for us. You know, loads of them are from a long time ago in our real lives, but some of them are just, from work. And one of them for me was when me and Jay, my child, my nearly adult child now, we played and won FIFA co-op seasons. I think it was FIFA 16. The thing that I remember most was saying that I wanted to do it and try and get it into Access Granted. I think it was Access Granted that we were doing it for. And recording it in the office, and Dave getting angrier and angrier at how long it was taking and how many games of FIFA I was playing, basically at work. And at that point in the office, Dave would be like, he'd had his back to the recording. And it's amazing how expressive Dave's back can be, like just an angry back.
I know exactly the back you mean. It's kind of rigid.
Exactly, yeah.
Vision going forward.
Yeah.
Temple bowl.
Yeah, just one vein popping out of his profile. So there was
on my CV.
So there was that. But we were getting closer and closer to winning. And so the thing about playing divisions or seasons with in FIFA is that you can, you've got like this little bar that you have to fill up with points every time, and you get so far you avoid relegation, and you get further on, and then you can actually you stay in the division, then you win it if you get 21 points out of 10 games or something. I realised that we were on a good run, and you basically have to win, like I said, I think it's 7 out of your 10 games you actually have to win against like the best FIFA players that are online. We were getting closer and closer, it was getting really exciting, and it was really nice to have Jay in work with me, being on a video with me, that was fun. But really, the secret thing is, like, I taught Jay how to play FIFA. I'm sure I've spoken about this on the channel before, but I taught him how to play FIFA because when he got to school, I wanted him to be in love with football, right? You have a kid and you're just terrified of everything that's going to happen to them when they're not in your care anymore day to day, when they're at school. And I thought, what do I know about school? Well, kids who play football, kids who are good at football, you know, they're cool kids. Everyone loves them. So I'll just make my kid amazing at. I'll make my kid amazing at football.
It's true.
It is. Yeah, it's true.
I think there are exceptions.
Oh, Dave, sorry. I didn't realise you were bad at football. The thing I didn't realise was how much he would like FIFA. Right, he's taken off a world of its own. It's like a monster that I can't, you know, control. And even then, probably 2 years ago, what we were witnessing, it had already happened. But that point where, you know, like, he has overtaken me, he knows it, I know it, but still he feels a bit bad about mentioning it. So like in that video you might watch, sometimes I'm like getting angry with Jay and telling him off, and he's got the patience of a saint because he was carrying me, I was terrible, and like now I can't play him. I refuse to play him. Every game is 5-6-0 to him. Like it's just genuinely painful and upsetting for me. And so that for me, that kind of me winning co-op seasons with Jay was that moment where, you know, we achieved something together, but it's basically because he was really good at something. And it was like this, you know, it was a moment for us. You know, he was overtaking me. It was cementing my obsolescence as a human being.
You passed the baton to him, even though secretly he'd had the baton for maybe a year or two.
Gandalf getting the fellowship over the bridge of Khazad-dûm and falling to his death.
That is so much more noble than what was actually happening in my life.
I think the baton worked better.
Yeah.
So my multiplayer moment that I'd never forget is, it's a weird one, okay? I don't play a lot of multiplayer games. I am a very insular creature. I quite like to play stuff by myself. However, I do play Final Fantasy XIV, which of course you didn't know because I've never spoken about it. And I'm not wearing a Final Fantasy XIV watch or anything.
Isn't that massively multiplayer?
It's
online?
massively multiplayer online. But I had been playing it for a while, and we have these, I call them Guardian Forces in Final Fantasy VIII, but in 14 they are primals. And there's 3 different modes. There's normal, there's hard mode, and then there's extreme. And the extreme ones are kind of like things you can do as extra. So anyone who's ever played a game, you know, you collect side quests and they're in like your journal, and you keep looking at them and you're like, oh, I need to clear these. I need to be done with my side quests. I've had enough. So I was on the FC chat. I was like, guys, Leviathan Extreme, or just Levy X, has been sat in my journal forever. Like, is anyone free to help? You guys can't see Dave's face. Rob is just like.
Leviathan is a primal.
It's a serpent snake.
Right. Okay. Got you.
So anyway, I messaged being like, I need to do Levy Extreme. Can you guys, like, is anyone online to help? I need to tank it. I only play tank. And my FC were like, yeah, like, sure, no problem. Like, we'll come in with you.
FC means free company.
I know what FC means. Football club.
So my football club came in, and you make parties of 8 to do extremes. So you should always run with 8 people. Ideally, to do an extreme, it takes skill, and you normally can't just run in and do whatever you want. And it's 2 tanks, and then you have your DPS, and then you have 2 healers, and that forms your team. So everyone starts joining, and it's just tank, 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 healer. So we're all like tanked up to that, like we've got massive swords, tons of armor on, and there is just like this tiny ginger Lalafell sort of running around in a smock. Okay. And you're like, sweet, great, this is gonna be the slowest burn ever. The battle starts, and one of the tricky things about Extreme is halfway through the battle, when the pace changes, Levy rips down all the walls. And because it's on the water, it rocks back and forth. So when Levy comes up, it rocks. And you just slide to your watery grave. So straight away, sides come off, Levy comes up, I go whoop.
Right.
So I'm just like, I'm watching my body sink to the floor. I then spent the next, what felt like forever, watching 6 tanks slowly burn a giant water snake. Tanks are not built for doing damage, while this one little ginger thing in a smock is just like running around casting heal.
Did they do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they're really expert. And it just sort of come up and it was like, duty complete. And I was like, oh guys, thanks. It's like taken off my diary.
I don't know why this one has popped into my head. particularly, I guess because it's brilliant, but Stickbold. Stickbold is an amazing game that we've enjoyed in the office loads anyway. If you don't know, it's basically dodgeball in weird arenas with crazy little characters. And we've played it enough to come to know our characters a little bit. So I always play as Paul, or it's more like Paul. Rob always plays as Monica. Nath always plays as Coach. And big fan of Stickbold. They released an update for it, which included some new modes. We thought, because we play Stickbold a fair bit and we really like it, we should try these new modes. I think there were 4 new modes. We only needed the first one, which was Handyball, which is amazing. Sort of football. It's probably most like handball, I guess, but I don't know enough about handball to say that with any authority. So I'm going to go with football, but with your hands. And we thought we'd play 2-on-2. So Rob and I played against Nathan Holly. Rob and I, not always the best teammates, but sometimes we've had our moments. Sometimes we're very competitive, against each other, but often we can team up quite well. Nathan Holly, sort of, a good team, I guess. Holly, it turned out, was surprisingly good at this game. And I knew it was getting real when she was putting in some massive goals and not even reacting, just being like, yeah, and what? And they were just like, I was sat furthest away, so their like reactions were just sort of peripheral and whispery, which are the worst ones when it's like you've just conceded a goal and you just hear like, and it's like, oh, I hate them so much. Come on, Rob. I don't remember much until I remember that we were 4-3 down, and with 7 seconds to go, we scored an equaliser, and it was unbelievable. Like, this game had loads of like back and forth. We were 4-2 down, I think. Were we 4-2 down before that? Yeah. So, and I imagine, Rob, that I will have, because especially with playing Rocket League, you often are quite quick to give up.
I scored all the goals.
I'm not saying you didn't, but I'm saying that my part would have been going, come on, Rob, we can still do this. We can still do it. With you going, oh, it's over. It's over. This is, we've got video evidence that might refute what I'm saying, but I imagine that's how it went. And with 7 seconds to go, we equalised. And then, obviously, because I'm telling this story, in overtime, we won it, and it was the best thing ever. It was just, I don't know why it particularly sticks with me. It was just such a relief. It was such a relief to win. I think it's because Nathan Holly was so unexpectedly good, and I remember Holly was just scoring goals from like the halfway line, like the other side of the pitch, and just being like, thing, and that was infuriating. And so to win was great.
Another multiplayer memory that will stick with me forever, I think, was at EGX from last year, Dave. You probably remember when you and I played Rocket League on stage in front of tens of people. But we played Rocket League loads, obviously, around about that time, because it was new and exciting, and we were playing it constantly in the office. And Dave, you were probably better than me at Rocket League and beat me maybe 8 times out of 10 you would beat me. So I was not confident at all going into this match against Dave, especially with people watching, because under pressure I crumble. Like, if I'm playing a game for capture, I'll be terrible at it. If I'm playing a game with actual people watching me live, I'll be even worse. But somehow I went 3-0 up, and I had like a band of hardcore Rob supporters in the front row cheering me on, who wanted me desperately to beat you, and it really filled me with confidence. I was like, yes, I'm going to do it, and I went 3-0 up. But then there's another instance where I feel lots of pressure, and that is when I'm winning. So as soon as I get like a margin of 2-0, 3-0, all of a sudden my thumbs just kind of cramp up and freeze. Everything is slow, my reactions seem to go down, and all I can think about is, what if I let this 3-0 lead slip? What if I let it slip? And then of course, I let it slip. And I remember you, Dave, coming back to 3-3, and I think it wasn't even over then. I think I then went 4-3 up, and then you got it back to 4-4, and it went to overtime, and you won in overtime 5-4.
Oh, yes.
And it was devastating.
How do you like that, Rob supporters? Do you like that? I can remember their little faces.
Oh, it's just so demoralising, especially to have such a lead. But yeah, that's a memory that will stick with me for all the wrong reasons. Not a happy memory, Well, it's sort of a happy memory because it was kind of fun, but also devastating at the same time.
So there's a whole era of my life which was completely dominated by Tekken 3. And specifically, I guess like I had a long-running rivalry. This is way back when I was at university, so this is 99 to 2002. Playing Tekken 3 in our small flat, which then same people moved into our house. And there was one person that used to play it, not the guy whose PlayStation it was, we were borrowing it. And we used to play against each other all the time. And I don't know if you get into that situation where, you know a couple of characters, you maybe know 2 or 3, these are my favourite characters. But then when you want to actually beat someone, it's like, okay, no, I've got one character and I know most of their moves and I'm gonna nail you. And this guy was the same. This guy's Matt Elliott, he actually works in games. And he used to play as Paul and I used to play as Law. And they're a really good matchup. And I probably know, I know Paul now because of all the hours that we used to play in versus games. We used to sit down at our kitchen table, the score would go up on the versus counter so that we both had over 100 wins. We were there like all day. We used to know most of the moves, like high-end combos probably still eluded us, but had a very, very firm grasp of it. And it used to be, like not only we'd come into certain kind of scenarios and clinches and I'd know he was going to punch, so I would duck and then I would come up and I would try a throw and then he would reverse the throw and then he would know I was going to do a flip kick, so he'd try and reverse it. We had like little passages of play where we would, and then because we knew that each other knew, we'd try and like psych each other out and not do that and do something else. And then the other person would sometimes, double bluff or guess on the other side as well. So it was like this ridiculous Paul versus Law rivalry. And the moment specifically, which I remember, was we had a house party in our 3rd year of university. Me and Matt, to kind of warm up, some of our friends had arrived and we decided to have a quick game of Tekken before things.
There's no better way to start a party than a friendly game of 2-player Tekken.
Yes. You guys want to watch?
Guys, just put the drinks over there and just file in, just put whatever you want on the CD player.
I mean, there's 2 things going on here, obviously. For everyone else at the party, this is terrible. But they also know that we're lunatics and we really like Tekken, and it won't last long. And for me and Matt, it's like the old arcade. It's for so long, it was me and Matt in the kitchen on our own, no one caring, telling us to shut up. And now there's at least 8 people in this room, So there's a very small audience, so you get this weird pressure. And this I called it a warm-up game for the party, but we had decided beforehand, one game, and whoever wins this game is the best Tekken player in the world ever. That was the specific title. We are playing for the title of the best player in the world ever. And with the tiny added pressure of the crowd, first round, Matt perfects me. And I'm just thinking, just can't come back from this. Not only am I likely to lose the game, but even if I win the next 2 rounds, my reputation's in tatters. These 8 people are never going to think Nathan's amazing at law. He's the best law player I've ever seen.
I know how annoyed that would make you as well. Were you at university studying a law degree?
No, but he was, weirdly. And then, so the next round, I perfect Matt. And then I'm thinking, if we could just stop this moment in time right now. Do you know, it's the perfect balance. One perfect, another perfect. Who knows what's going to happen in the final round?
I wish I could go back and see this, because I know that in your head, I'm just picturing the audience, and in your head you're thinking, they are having the time of their lives. They've been treated to 2 perfects. They can't believe it. They've forgotten there even is a party. They're suddenly they're at a Tekken tournament. Just like, everyone stop. This is unbelievable. We've never seen this thrown
People
out
running
like
in the door, trying to see the
like in the street. Guys, come in. We just had 2 perfects. Best Tekken player in the world.
Well, you've stolen my thunder now, Dave. But no, the last round, it really can't live up to that, can it? This is the sad truth. But the last round is close, and it's the proper culmination of all those years of Tekken. And we get right down, so we both got a sliver of life. And I can't remember how. I think I probably just did a low punch or something. But I ended up winning.
Blow.
And it was one of them things where we took it seriously enough that it was like, oh, let's get on with the party. But he was really sad.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt a bit bad about winning, but also I'd much rather have won than lost. So, I guess the only way to end the story is that is to reveal to you guys that I am officially the best Tekken player in the world ever. So
I think I realised that when you started telling this story.
Oh! I don't know, does he do that?
That's just the end of the video now. Generic Danish man.
Oh! He's happier than I do at the first. It's about the arms as well.
I I love stick bowls.
You got to do the arms.
What do we do?
Oh! What's weird is he comes out of your controller. I remember that being an absolute shock. I think games need to come with a warning if that's going to happen. Some sounds will come out of your DualShock.
He's in my hands.
Yeah, Paul.
Stop that, David. Thanks, everyone who isn't Dave, and thank you for watching. We want to hear about your unforgettable multiplayer moments in the comments. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. This series is still new. Help us grow it massive. And we'll see you next week for another Tuesday checklist.